Hello and welcome to Third Power Life Podcast. I'm Dan Gentry. It's January 3rd, and today I want to talk about the power of no. One of my children's first words ever, most toddlers, they was like, no. And as we get to be adults, we stop saying no so much. Well, except to those toddlers, which is where they learn it. And so I want to talk a little bit about the power of no. Welcome to my journey of self-discovery, life balance, career success, and business creation. This podcast works to answer the question of how successful professionals like us stop drifting and get focused on keeping our careers and businesses growing rapidly while having a full, balanced, and vibrant life that we absolutely love. What we call the Third Power Life. And this is the Third Power Life Podcast. You know, it's interesting that yesterday I talked about how my kind of focus this year is on clarity of purpose, and how 90% of success is clarity of purpose. And one of the biggest pieces of that, and one of the reasons why clarity of purpose is so important, is it gives you that the guiding light to go after. It's a kind of like a decision-making filter, right? And I talk about it in my TEDx talk. I talk about it to the roundtable community, how, purpose is so important. And the reason it's so important is when things come up that are asking you to spend your time, spend your money, spend your energy, right? The answer either needs to be hell yes or no, right? And if we don't know what our purpose is, how do we know what to say hell yes or no to? So that's kind of a key point. But I want to really bring home how important the word no is. And, there are so many people and things and, social media and our phones and everything that's constantly vying for our attention, for our time, our energy, and our money, right? And we have to be able to say no, because when you say yes to something, you're saying no to everything else, right? And so if it's not going to help you, if it's not going to improve your self-mastery, if it's not going to improve your relationships, if it's not going to improve your financial situation, if it's not doing something that is moving you closer to your ultimate purpose, why would you say yes to it? If it's going to take you away from that purpose, why say yes? And the real trick, and this is where we get into like the advanced part, is where there are things that we can say yes to that would get us some more money, right? And we have to be able to say no to those things too, because it doesn't align with where we really want to go. But that's another show. What I want to really connect in your mind right now is that it is so important to say no to things that do not serve you. And most of the time we know if something's not going to serve us. We know if it's not really what we should be doing. There's that intuition, that gut sense, right? But I want you to look at every decision that you make, right? Whether it's small, whether it's, hey, I think I'll scroll real quick on Facebook for a little while, right? One of my favorite things is, I have a great recipe for blackened chicken. Yeah, it's you set your oven to 350, season your chicken, you put it in the oven with no timer, and just go to check Facebook for 5 minutes. More than 5 minutes will go by, and eventually that chicken will be blackened. So every time that we want to spend time, every time we we're being asked to spend money, right? is that aligning with where I want to go? Is this, I'm here, I want to change the world. I want to make Cats in the Cradle just a story and not a song about anybody. I want to help people find that life balance that will make a life that's fantastic for them. I can't do that if all of my money is going into toys. I can't do that if I'm saying yes to things that are taking my time for, a bowling league or something else, right? I can't do what that fire that's in my soul is not going to be able to be accomplished. I'm not going to be able to forge that destiny if I'm constantly distracted by other things that really don't matter. So I have to say no to those. So every time you are asked to spend money, every time that you are going to spend your time, and anytime you're going to be giving your life energy to something, I want you to ask, will this serve me? And will this bring me closer to my ultimate purpose or farther away? And when that question enters your mind, the answer is either hell yes or no. And I want you to say no. I want the default to be no. And you don't have to be a jerk about it. Like, no way, right? It's like, no, thank you. I appreciate you thinking of me for this nonprofit. I appreciate you thinking of me to do this thing. I appreciate being invited, but unfortunately my schedule doesn't allow, right? I'm sorry, I'm already booked, or, no, thank you. I that doesn't fit in the budget that I have right now, right? It's being able to stand up for yourself and say no is absolutely critical, and it's empowering. Now, here's the funny thing, because I've been a people pleaser my whole life. And for me to say no to somebody was always challenging. But I'm here to tell you, when you start saying no to other things so that you can say yes to you, it changes the way you feel about that. Because I used to be uncomfortable, physically uncomfortable saying no to someone. And now I understand how important that is. And I value myself enough to say yes to me and no to you. And that changes the way that I see myself. And it changes the way that I experience my life. So, learn to say no. And if it's not hell yes, it's no. I'm sorry, it's no. That's how you live your life to the third power. All right. Until next time, I'd love it. If you're enjoying this, please rate, review, like, subscribe, all of those good things. Because that's how we grow. That's how we grow this podcast, and I'm able to affect more and more people. So your comments, your likes, your reviews really make a huge difference. So I would appreciate it if you could do that for me. All right, my friends. Until tomorrow, keep living your life to the third power. Thank you for listening to the Third Power Life podcast. Before you go, one quick question for you. Where are you on the path of life? Are you just drifting through your life? Are you fully in command somewhere in between? Well, you can find out where you are now by taking my new Commander Survey. It will tell you where you are on your growth journey and how to move yourself to the next level. You can find the link on the screen or in the show notes. Now, all I want to know now is, where do you stand?